So to start off, can you tell me why you think you'd be the best leader for West Haven for the next 2 years?
I think I'm the best leader for many reasons. A, my public service involvement throughout my lifetime. 35 years involved in our children's programs, a lifetime of public service in that area. I'm the longest sitting councilman that has touched 4 decades in the history of West Haven, whether it's Republican or Democrat. So government experience, also, I feel I'm more than qualified. But probably above all is that I care about this community and I care about the people here. For so long, the people of the city of West Haven have been the short end of the stick. It's been that inner circle politics that has been the cancer of this community. And I've taken this plight because I believe West Haven can do so much better in all facets, well, from our children to a middle age to the elderly. So there is no doubt in my mind that on November 7th, if I am elected, you're getting a person, a leader, and someone who truly cares about the people of the city of West Haven.
So you've been part of the city council on and off since you were 23. That was the first time you ran. Can you give a little glimpse as to what has been probably the most important thing you've learned that you think will translate if you get into the mayor's office?
Probably the most important thing is don't get involved in this political web. Do what's right for the people. Stay focused. Maintain on the issues that are concerned, and will end up the product of everything is it will make life better for the people of West Haven. That seems to be forgotten for decades now. They get elected, there's campaign promises, there's platforms, and what happens is that they get in that third floor and they forget about everything. And the people pay the piper in that situation. That has to stop here in West Haven. That's been the main cog to the problems that we have here, whether it's fiscally, whether it's economic development-wise, whether it's the aesthetics of the city of West Haven. We need someone who truly will do the job instead of sitting there in that seat in the third floor and collecting a paycheck. That has to end.
And so according to statistics from last year's election, only about 11% of West Haven voters that are registered identify as Republican. How does that affect the way you run your campaign?
Well, I think I've been a unique candidate throughout my entire lifetime. I've gravitated to both Republicans, Democrats, and unaffiliates. Again, that has to do with me being around town, being popular throughout the years. And so those statistics that you have is so true because I think there's a level of content, or actually I should say, just like any other city or town, you'll see the numbers are down because there's some apathy. The people, they're not really so disappointed in their leaders, in government officials. Is that the famous saying, what does one vote count? Well, you know what? When one says that, and then two says that, it leads to many. That leads to your numbers that you have here. But in regards to myself, I feel that those statistics might fit the norm. But I've sort of always when I ran outside of the norm. And I'm so proud of the people of the city of West Haven for putting their confidence in me. And that's my motivation.
So, speaking of kind of the election, there's a high possibility that the two Democratic candidates, the endorsed one and the write-in candidate, could possibly split their vote. Do you think that gives you a better chance of winning?
It gives me a tremendous chance. It gives me an opportunity. I think the infighting itself that has been lingering for so long now has come to a head, and the people of the city of West Haven have had enough of it. And now the Republican Party has run somebody that they know has cared for throughout his life about the people. And I think the opportunity of both of them running, sure, it makes my chances a lot better. But we're focused on one thing. The finish line is November 7th. My candidates are out there walking. We're talking, like our sign says, the time is now. Well, you know what? It's the people's time, and let's hope that on November 7th, the people find their way to vote row B.
So you mentioned a little bit about both the insider politics that you think are going on right now, as well as the infighting, I'm assuming, with the Democratic Party and their candidates. Can you explain why you think that's harmful to the city and what you think your party would do differently?
It's harmful in many ways because we've seen raises go on to family members of the hierarchy of the Democratic, outrageous numbers. We're talking about $20,000 raises. That's harmful for the community because they're paying the price for that. We're seeing decisions that are hiring decisions that are made by the administration, not in the best interest of the people of the city of West Haven. We see them fighting about one's claiming one's a liar, one's claiming the other one's a liar. That's not healthy for any community because you know what? We have to elect someone that's supposed to lead, responsible of appropriating finances, responsible of making decisions on behalf of their children in the education side. And we're acting like children. So someone has to be the adult in the room. And I think our campaign in the state has stepped aside from the name calling, the personal attacks. And you know what? It's the people of City West Haven deserve better, and we're asking for the baton because we want to cross the finish line as the winner.
So your platform states that you want to restore transparency and integrity to city government. What does that look like for you?
Currently, there's none. I sit on the city council. I ask many questions regarding one of the major developments we've had in a long time in West Haven, regarding talking about the Havens that sits in that Water Street, First Avenue, Elm Street block. I get no answers to that. I'm the minority leader of the city council. I'm left in the dark. Council people are left in the dark. That's not healthy. That's not being transparent. Because we're the legislative body of the city. We're also elected. The finance director. We've asked him 4 times. My call from the council chair, not only mine, I was also joined by the Democrats who also said, yeah, we need to know the state of the city. We're making decisions on finances on our agenda. We're approaching a time where at the end we want to know what the end of the year looks like. Well, there's questions we have with our hasn't shown, doesn't he reject the call from the city council. That's not transparent. We need to restore transparency because not only it's healthy of running the community, but it puts honesty back in government. You know, there's this aura about West Haven that everything that we do is the inner circle politics. In fact, years ago, there was a famous writer, Walter Winchell. He wrote, after he was a famous sports writer and went to Chicago, they asked him about the corruption of Chicago. And he says, oh no, he goes, there's a little town in the east called West Haven, Connecticut. He goes, you want to know what corruption is? He goes, you want to know what dishonesty is? You want to know what not being true? He goes, there. And you know what? People remember that from years ago, people that have been lifelong West Haven. And it seems that we have not shaken that reputation. That has to end. And in 2017, with the election of Team Riccio, that will end.
So what are your thoughts on the development of the Haven and the Acorn properties that are going in Allentown that are connected to the University of New Haven? And what do you want to see next in terms of development throughout the city?
I think, first of all, I think the Havens, if come to fruition, you know, under the cloud that it is it happening, is it not going to happen, is it going to be as presented? That Water Street area was downtrodden for years. I lived on First Avenue when I was born and raised. I've seen when it was Benzoline. I've seen it we had Benzoline Oil Company there. We had Bilco at its height. I've seen that it needed a jump start. I'm not a big fan of eminent domain. I think anybody really is. Someone knocking on your door and saying, you know what, you want your house? No, I agreed that we need to negotiate with the people fully. And there were some negotiations that didn't go well. But it's something that if the original concept is put in, I think it would be great. Whether or not retail is sustainable, a mall is sustainable in this era where online shopping has been so great. You know, there's some questions there. I think it's great that the Source and Quarter property, which is now the Acorn property, you know, it's been sitting there since 1980s. I think seeing at least something there is going to be a boon. Now we see the Atwoods. I'd like to see more though. I had the opportunity before I made this run to go to area college, flourishing college towns. I went to Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I went to Syracuse. I went to Stony Brook. I wanted to see what makes that tick. And when I went to Franklin Avenue in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, which is right directly across, almost the same type of a setting with University of New Haven is that I saw parents visiting their children, staying there and spending the money. And the trickle-down effect of that is very simple. Parents stay in the town, visit their children, stay in town, spend their money. What happens? Businesses do well. Businesses do well, the city does well. If the city appropriates the money properly, the end result in the product is in relief for the taxpayer. And that's the bottom line, making life better in West Haven. So my economic development approach has been a thematic approach. Something unlike my other two opponents, is that put a theme, whether it's Allentown, our central business district, or Shoreline. If we're going to put a college-oriented theme in Allentown, then you know, whether it's bookstores, whether it's eateries, whether it's something that parents will really enjoy with their children. In our center of town, we have the Arts Center that's been standing there with no concern at all towards getting that off its feet. Now that we have it there, let's build on it. Make it arts, dining, okay, restaurant. But we have to restructure our central business district, or actually redesign it. We've had that one strip, Campbell Avenue, for decades. It's not working. How long you got to bang your head on the wall before you're bleeding? It's not working. So we have to start thinking outside of the box, see what we have there, and we have to redesign. That goes into my other trip. We'll go on to Asbury Park, New Jersey, regarding Central and the shoreline. And we have our shoreline. We have the longest continuous shoreline in the state of Connecticut. 3 miles long. Virginia Beach, too. Miami Beach, too. And economic development-wise, I'm not saying turn into a Miami Beach where we have, but we have to do something. You can't even buy a bathing suit on a 3 mile continuous shoreline. We have to put, if that's going to be our recreation, which should be, then we got to look at our Beach Street corridor and maybe put something there, whether it's a family-oriented hub, in other words, something that families would want to go to. And what does that have? What happens to Beach Street? You're going to see all those dilapidated areas now start to grow. People are going to be interested in restaurants. So miniature golf. You know, all these things that families could enjoy. That's what we need to do. And how's it going to be done? There's hundreds and hundreds of big-time developers on the East Coast. This is how you get it done. Well, the way we currently do business is that we wait for a developer to fall on our lap. We accept their vision. We take my staff, my economic developer, we go to these ones on the East Coast. We sell West Haven's vision. Because when I went to Asbury Park, New Jersey, and I talked to the town manager, we talked to the developer, he said one thing. He said, Dave, someone's going to buy into West Haven's vision. Because what you're telling me seems like a diamond in the rough. And we are. We're a diamond in the rough. We're waiting to explode. It's that we need someone sitting in that office that has the energy, the fire in the belly, to get this done. So, as you probably could tell, is that with the thematic approach in each area, concentrating on it can be done here in West Haven. It can be done. It's a shame fiscally we can't afford to do some of the project because we have the fiscal pitfalls. We're going to have to do aggressive search for developers, but it can be done.
And how long do you think that trickle-down effect will take to get the developers here to build those businesses, whatever they may be, and then to have basically the cultural shift of people, especially around the university, coming and staying and spending their money here?
Well, it's going to take a while. First of all, I think immediately, as soon as we're elected, my staff will be out there looking for developers to buy into our concept, especially around the university. We have to maintain the people that visit there staying here. They're going to Milford and New Haven now to spend their money. That's not acceptable for a town that's hosting, that has the University of New Haven right in our backyard. We have to make West Haven more appealing. We have to make West Haven a destination again. And we just seem to lost our way throughout the years. It'll take time, but I'll tell you what, we're going to be right at it from day one, out of the box, looking to see these business districts ideas put to work. It's going to take a while to get all 3 business districts. I don't, like I told you before, I'm honest, I'm not going to sugarcoat. It's going to take time, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to get the plans done. We're going to get the work done, and we're going to initiate development here in West Haven that's going to be in the best interest for the people living here and for the districts that each concept is put in.
So in terms of the relationship between the city and the University of New Haven, a major part of that is the Mayor's Advisory Commission, which is now run between a group of students on campus and Mayor O'Brien's office. Is that a program that you would like to continue? And if so, would you make any changes, or how would you keep students involved in the city?
Absolutely maintain the connection between the advisory and the city of West Haven. Enhance their involvement in our school system. One thing I've always found successful, because don't forget, at 23 I was involved in our children, is that they looked up to you. You become a mentor. Mentorship in our community, making the students of the city of West Haven feeling part of the developing of a community renaissance, making you part of that renaissance. And beyond it, we have internships. Bring you involved in the internships not only within City Hall, like I say, but within companies. Take an aggressive approach in our community. Get them involved in businesses, in West Haven. Let them feel part that they're part of this West Haven family. And when that happens, you'll see those families that come visiting their children. You're gonna see West Haveners embrace the university even more, and that's my goal. That's my goal is maintain the advisory board relationship with the city, but find so many more avenues for you guys to not only better yourselves, but your ideas that can better the city of West Haven.
So what is one way that you think the University of New Haven as a whole could be involved more in the West Haven community?
Oh, outside of the advisory
commission, yeah.
I thought the advisory commission. I believe running ideas of certain issues that confront the city of West Haven. Hear ideas from the administration. We seem to run things. You know what? We have some pretty smart people at the University of New Haven. I'm sure some of their opinions, some of their ideas, some about the way we're doing things. We have to get away from this tunnel vision of leading and expand the spectrum and see that and listen different ideas. I think listening to some of the students. Mayor Riccio, I think we could do something better this way, and looking at it, and accepting the fact that maybe it's better than the idea you have. Some people if it's not your idea, it's no idea. We have to, that has to stop. That's the way government's been run, though. That's why you see this partisan politics. You see, if it's not my idea, even though it's good for the people, even though it's better for the people, well, we can't go there, because you know what? That'll make you look good. So therefore, we'll stay with this partisan politic way of doing things. So as you can see, I'm a little different of a politician. Whether it's Republican, Democrat, I'm a people person, and that's I mean, that's why I'm doing so well.
What is something you would want to say to the registered voters in West Haven, or even the ones that are still unsure about who they're going to vote for on Tuesday, and why you think they should vote for you?
On November 7th, you have an opportunity to elect a true person that you've seen throughout your lifetime, that is dedicated to the city, dedicated to the youth, middle-aged, and elderly. You have an opportunity to step outside of the political way of doing things that has hurt many of this community and people, and elect someone that will put you first. That every day when I go to work, it'll be how I can make West Haven a better place. And also, in the end, you'll see true honesty in not only of myself, but the people that I have running with me. Because they're people just like themselves, tired of what's going on, and have the fire in the belly and the will to make West Haven better. I think we have, in the next couple of days, if you're undecided, I want them to think about that. Do we want to continue this the way we've been just going back and forth with one party leadership? Or do you want something different? Change is needed in the city of West Haven. And Team Riccio is the change we need.
Councilman, thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.